Hello, hello. Anyone home? So I just did a Instagram live on Instagram for the first time, but it doesn't save it on Instagram, so that was kind of a bummer. So anyways, Instagram for the first time, but how's everybody doing? I hope that I can catch some of you. Maybe some fellow teachers or counselors are on break and at home chilling for the day. But I wanted to go live for a few minutes and talk about the new year and some of my favorite topics surrounding goal setting and resolutions and all that fun stuff. So a lot of you who know me know that I'm really into personal development, and I'm constantly reading and reflecting and doing stuff like that. That's the counselor in me, of course. So this is one of my favorite times of year, and I know some people get like all huffy, like, oh, resolutions, no one ever keeps their resolutions, but I want to talk about that today because I do think it's possible, and I want to show you some of my favorite tools that I've used this year to get ready for my goals for 2017. So I think the key for this time of year is recognizing the difference between a resolution and setting a goal. So a resolution, as I tend to think of it at least, is kind of like a thought that we have, a goal that we kind of form in our minds at the beginning of the year. A lot of times resolutions don't include a lot of follow through, and so that's where I tend to focus more on the term goal setting. And I think goal setting is very productive and very effective if we do a few key things to make it that way. So I think one thing that's huge that I've read and heard from tons of different professionals in this area is that just to make a goal that you actually want to achieve, you have to write it down in some way, and then you have to develop a plan that helps you track your follow through throughout the year or month, however long your goal will be. And it's hard to make a year-long goal. That's why a lot of this stuff are monthly. Some goals might even be just weekly or daily. And so we'll talk about that in a second. So as far as writing it down, I like to start the year by using a couple of tools to sort of like dream big. Because if you don't dream it, you're definitely not going to do it. So you might fail, but at least you can try. So my first thing I've used this year is Leonie Dawson's Shining Life. She has a bunch of Shining Life planners, but this is the Life Workbook, and it's not like a planner or anything like that. It's literally what it's called, a workbook that kind of guides you through your year and setting your goals that you want to achieve throughout this year. So it's very creative. Like some of you that don't feel like you are very creative, which we all are creative, but if you don't feel like you are very creative, you might not like this one just because it's super creative. So every page is full of color. Like I said, it's really just a workbook that allows you to sort of dive deep into some of your ideas. The first thing it has you do is to do a closing ceremony for 2016, which I so loved because I really thought 2016 was not that fun. And then when I did this workbook page, I realized that there were a lot of good memories that I had. So in the closing ceremony portion, I actually went through and took pictures off my phone and made a little collage of some of my favorite memories from 2016. So gosh, that made me feel so much better about it moving into 2017. Like I accomplished a lot, and I just hadn't taken the time to really think about it because you get so caught up in the day-to-day. So it has you write a little bit about what you've accomplished, and then it kind of like let that part of your life go and then focus on moving forward to 2017. So she asks certain questions that you fill out. I know for me, ask what kind of things you want to accomplish. What do you want to feel this year? I said I wanted to feel in control and present. I want to give myself the gift of intentionality. So just kind of fun stuff like that. And throughout, she asks you different questions about how you want to nurture yourself. And it's all related to your goals. So I'm going to go to the table of contents and show you the different areas she focuses on. So she has you sort of dream and write or draw, whatever you prefer, about your creativity in the coming year, your soul, how you'll nurture your mind, your relationships, family, your body, your house, your travel and adventures, finances, community, self-care, support, and then goal setting and habit setting. So she really leads you through this, and I think that's what a lot of us miss when we make our resolutions, is we don't have anything to go off of that kind of guides us to dig deeper and to really make it tangible, what we want. So we have this idea, and then we're disappointed with ourselves when we don't achieve it. So something like this was so fun to do. For me, I really like, this kind of thing. So I have my little paints out, I was painting, I was drawing, and it was just like a really fun, messy way to sort of start getting a feel about what I wanted the next year to look like. The next one I'm going to show you is called PowerSheets by Lara and Cultivate What Matters shop. I see some people joining. Hi, Rusty, Elizabeth, Allison, Shauna. So a lot of you are going to probably like this one. Like, I know, Shauna, you would probably like this one, Allison. This is by a lady who is just so awesome. She wrote the book, Make It Happen. So it's a good book if you want to read it. But this is another goal-setting book. It's for the whole year of 2017, but she also offers one that's only 6 months. I like the year one, but and I haven't started mine yet. This will be my thing I do tomorrow, and I'm really excited about it. I'll block off a little chunk of time and work through this tomorrow. My hope is that the ideas that I got in the Shining Year workbook will kind of be solidified and narrowed down into very specific and measurable goals in this workbook tomorrow. The thing that I love most about this is it's totally going to guide you through your goals and track them for the rest of the year. So each month you have a page like this where you have monthly goals, weekly goals, and your daily goals. So you can check those off using the little boxes. So I love this because whether you write 2 things down or you fill the whole thing up, it gives you a way to follow through with the things that you've set forward in January. And the thing to keep in mind is that you can change these goals if you need to throughout the year. It's not, it doesn't have to be concrete and stay exactly the same because our lives are going to change in ways we don't know this year, I'm sure. So it's important just to remember that each month you have that fresh start to kind of revisit those and change it as needed. So I love this one. I'm so excited to start working on these tomorrow. All right, number 3 out of 4. Josh got me this really awesome journal that I've actually already used, but I needed a fresh one for this year. And it's called the Fuel Journal. And I use this. I'm a school counselor, so every day when I go to school, the first thing I do, I get there early, so I have about, well, sometimes it varies. Sometimes I have an hour to plan. Sometimes I only have 10 or 15 minutes to kind of get things ready for the day. But I use this in my morning planning sessions once I get to work. And what I'll do is I'll get my calendar out, sort of review the day or week, see what's to come as far as my job is concerned. And then I'll sit down and flip to a new page in this journal and take 5 minutes to kind of journal. And it really helps me clear my mind and get ready for the day. So you'll see up here, it has the date, it's got intentions, you review some of your goals, it has a section for gratitude, has a section for what do I desire, my accomplishments, and then on this page, it's just totally blank. So this is your page to sort of brain dump, as I call it. So you can really just write your stream of consciousness, whatever you have in your mind, you probably need to get it out because a lot of times I find that it's not what I need to be focused on at that moment. And so by getting it out onto the paper, you can really have a fresh mind to start the day, and it's always there to refer back to if there's some action steps that needed to be taken. So I use I know this is big, so if journaling freaks you out, you might just choose to do this page, or there's a smaller one too, and there's a planner version of this too, but I love it because I usually have a lot of thoughts running through my mind, and I'm happy to get them out of there and onto this page. So I love that. Thank you, Josh, for getting me a new fresh one to start the year off. It's been very helpful for me to especially do the brain dump on the second page. So the last thing that I want to share with you today, and if you follow me on Instagram, or sometimes I even post on my Facebook about this, I'm just so ate up with it. And they don't pay me to advertise for this company, but they really should because I'm constantly talking about it because it's literally changed my life in 2016. I can solidly say this was one of the leading reasons that I actually accomplished as much as I did this past year. And it's a book I read called Getting Things Done by David Allen. And it is a book, but it's really more of a methodology. And, when you think, it says stress-free productivity. And that's exactly what it is. It's really a framework, sort of mindset, way of thinking that has allowed me to feel confident in my organizational stuff and my to-dos. I've always been organized, and I'm guessing like a lot of you that are hopping on here also have always probably been fairly organized. But I've always still felt stressed out. So, been organized, also still feeling stressed out, which was not that helpful. And so ever since I read this book and started to do this stuff in my life, I've actually been able to feel confident that I've got it all together and I don't need to be constantly stressing out. So I really can't stress enough that if you feel like you're not organized enough or you have so much on your plate you can't even begin to be thinking about goal setting or adding more to your plate in the new year, that this is totally the place to start, because it's going to make all the things you have on your plate run so much more seamlessly that you'll have the space and like mental energy to begin thinking about the stuff you want to better in your own life. So I would definitely suggest this. If anyone wants to read it and let me know, I'd be happy to do like a Facebook Live about it, because I'm literally so obsessed with it and it's made everything so much faster and easy to manage for me. So those are my 4 tools. So for those of you that just hopped on, I'm going to review my 4 tools that I showed you. First, I have Leonie Dawson's Shining Year Life Workbook, which has been awesome. A really colorful, guided way to sort of dream and plan about some of the things you want in your 2017 year. Loved it. That's where I started. Then I have Lara Casey's PowerSheets, which are a very clean, simplified, simple, organized way of tracking any goals or resolutions you put into place by, this is one of the best pages, the monthly, weekly, and daily goals. This is like way less stressful, I feel like, for some people than this guy. So like if you don't feel like you're super creative and just looking at all these colors like overwhelms you, I would suggest starting with this. It's very simple and you can like make it your own however you want. Third, I did my fuel journal Josh got me, which is what I use to start my day. Even if it's just for 5 minutes of reviewing gratitude, accomplishments, what I desire, and then brain dumping. And then lastly, probably my favorite tool I could suggest to anyone, at least at this point of my life, is David Allen's book, Getting Things Done. There's also an audiobook, so like I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm an adult, I don't have time to read, but I read books or listen to books on audio version when I'm cleaning the house, when I'm driving, if you have a commute to work. So I would highly suggest that. Otherwise, thank you guys for joining me, and I hope that you're inspired to make some new goals for 2017. I know some people are like, goal setting and resolutions, nobody ever keeps up with them, but I really think that you'll find that if you use a structured way of making goals and you have a follow-up plan that you're going to revisit monthly or weekly, that you can reach your goals. And there's always some that are harder. Like for me, like getting healthy and eating well and exercising and losing weight is like my trouble area that every year after year I feel like I'm not making as much progress on. But every year that I've tried that as a resolution or goal, I've learned so much about myself that every year it makes me that much more likely that I'll eventually sort of get the handle of it, because I've tried, I've learned about myself, I've learned what didn't work. So I encourage you to set goals and not be afraid that just because you might not achieve them that you shouldn't set them, because I don't think that's the way to live. And I think that if you have something to help you, like a companion, like one of these things to help you throughout the year, you can totally set and achieve your goals. And if you don't, oh well, just let it go and choose a different goal, because I think being reflective and, trying to be the best person we can be is totally the way to live. I couldn't do it any other way. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope everyone has a fabulous new year.